McCusker.
Come feel the New Orleans heat at Meridian Theaters at Center Point with Mardi Gras Mambo featuring Dirty Dozen Brass Band and Nathan and the Zydeco Cha-Chas. The Dirty Dozen Brass Band will have you moving. And Nathan and the Zydeco Cha-Chas will get you grooving. It's so good to be. Come dancing. Come party. New Orleans style. Friday. Tickets meridiancenterpoint.com. It doesn't take long to make a difference. It only takes an hour. An hour to give on City News, a program dedicated to causes and charity in our community.
Hi, this is Sam LaPrade. I'm your host, and each week I have the opportunity to speak with nonprofit leaders who share the amazing work that's being done to change and save lives in Ottawa.
Join us for an hour to give, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 8 on City News, 101.1 FM and 1310 AM.
Online betting is booming. Booyah! You could win big, but you could also lose. And that's a reality nobody's shouting about. Learn about online gambling risks and safer play at knowtherisks.ca. A message from the Responsible Gambling Council.
Checking out your Friday business travelers forecast. In Montreal, there will be scattered flurries. It will be -9. In the provincial capital, Toronto, sun and cloud, -6. In Vancouver, mainly sunny, 0. In Calgary, expect mainly sunny, -19. The same temperatures in Edmonton and in Winnipeg. In Halifax, there will be snow. It will be -5. In St. John's, mainly cloudy, -13. Just helping make Ottawa and the Valley a better place to live. Listen to the Sam LaPrade Show weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can listen live on your smart speaker by saying "Play City News Ottawa." City News time 2:30.
Number 1 for local news, traffic, and weather for Ottawa and the Valley. This is All News Afternoons on City News 101.1 everywhere.
Good afternoon. It is Thursday, February 23rd. I am Damilola Unimem. Right now in Ottawa and in Smiths Falls, light snow, -10. And here's what's making news right now.
Ontario becomes the first province to agree tentatively to a much-needed health care deal from Ottawa. $8.4 billion over a decade and millions more in immediate funding to fast-track the road to recovery.
The leader of Ontario's NDP is asking the Integrity Commissioner to look into the Premier's relationship with developers and lobbyists.
Former Ontario Fire Marshal investigator shares what we can expect from the investigation into the Orleans explosion and says any analysis will be comprehensive.
The Ottawa Senators get back on the ice tomorrow when they take on the Hurricanes at PNC Arena, and the Gatineau Olympique will try to win an 11th straight game tonight. Sports 45.
A mix of gains and losses for Bay and Wall Street, with more indications of a strong economy in the U.S., bolstering the idea of more interest rate hikes to avoid a severe recession. Business at 56.
City News time 2:31. Here's City News traffic and weather together on the ones.
Good afternoon. Take a look at the roads right now. The Queensway, the 174 and the 416 will have light activity. We do have a special advisory for daytime winter weather parking ban in effect until 7 tonight. Clearly Avenue is closed at Richmond Road for long-term LRT work. Byron between Richardson Avenue and Compton Avenue between Woodruff and Sherbourne will have daily lane closures for LRT construction. And Corkstown Road westbound is closed between March and Moody for road work. Save more when you buy more with IKEA Family until February 28th. Offer valid in Ontario stores only. Other conditions apply. Visit your nearest IKEA for details. With the forecast for Ottawa and the Valley, here's weather specialist Denise Andriachi.
Periods of light snow continue for Ottawa and Smiths Falls, so we're not in storm mode here. The bulk of what we were expecting has already fallen, but still unsettled for the afternoon and evening drive, so slow down. Give the crews and other drivers the space they need. Overnight tonight, down to -15. We may see some flurries early Friday. For the most part, sun and cloud near -10. Overnight tonight, -15.
Right now in Ottawa and in Smiths Falls, -10. City News time 2:32. We're getting more insight into today's announcement that the Ford government has agreed to a deal in principle that will see over $9 billion in federal funding to help Ontario's struggling healthcare system. City News reporter Scott Burnett has the details.
Ontario Finance Minister Peter Bethenfalvey told reporters this afternoon at Queen's Park that one of the stipulations Premier Doug Ford wanted to ensure in this deal was a stringent review process in place throughout the funding's 10-year lifespan.
Premier got a commitment from the federal government to discuss the sustainability, that cliff in 4 and 5 years for long-term care, for mental health and addiction, for home and community care. We have to have a mechanism that funding doesn't drop off. So today, we have that agreement in principle.
Meantime, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in Halifax this afternoon, agreeing that funding is just part of the process to get healthcare networks in Canada up to par.
The targets and the metrics will be negotiated together, province by province. That's the way to make sure that at the end of the day, all Canadians get access to the best quality healthcare.
We're expecting to hear more on the deal from federal officials at 4 this afternoon. Scott Burnett, City News.
The Ontario Nurses Association has scheduled a number of protests throughout the province today. In Ottawa, they'll be gathered outside CHEO, the Civic, the Ottawa General, and the Queensway Cotton Hospital for an information picket. Richard Murr is an RN at the Ottawa Hospital and the Ottawa Hospital Bargaining Unit President.
The changes we need will impact not only nurses, but the people we care for. Because if we can bring back nurses, we can bring back better care, bring back safer care, and we can move away from the private health care that seems to be the go-to solution and is not backed up by research or statistics.
The Ontario Nurses Association and the province are in the middle of bargaining a new collective agreement. Where it tells the Rob Snow Show, today's province-wide picket is in support of a contract that will improve retention in the critically understaffed sector, which will lead to better healthcare for Ontarians. And 3 years after it was opened, the Armont COVID-19 testing clinic is bidding farewell to the community. The clinic will officially close its doors tomorrow after conducting over 39,000 COVID-19 tests in the 3-year period it was open. Anyone with COVID-19 symptoms is advised to visit their GP, a nurse practitioner, or local pharmacy for testing, and you can also use a free rapid antigen test. City News Time, 2:35. The Premier is still facing pushback from the opposition regarding a family fundraiser last year. As City News reporter John Stanham tells us this afternoon, a formal complaint has now been filed by the NDP.
Doug Ford says no government business was discussed during his daughter's stag and doe or her wedding last year. The Premier insists the Integrity Commissioner has already cleared him of wrongdoing. But NDP leader Marit Stiles isn't so sure and is now asking for a formal investigation into the events. Stiles says she's concerned some invitees and developers felt pressured to contribute funds out of fear for their working relationships with the government. Ford was absent from the legislature today when Stiles again asked about the situation, but Government House Leader Paul Calandra responded with this.
The Premier's answered the question, so let's try another smear tactic, Mr. Speaker. Let's try bringing the family into it.
In the complaint, Stiles claims several individuals who attended the events received favorable zoning orders, and at least one benefited from recent policy changes to Greenbelt land. John Sandham, City News.
City News Time, 2:36. Today marks the 100th day in office for Ottawa's new mayor and city councillors. Mayor Mark Sutcliffe says he is pleased with how things have gone so far, especially with the level of cooperation around the council table.
And I think that's something that was expected of us. I heard a lot about it during the election campaign, that people felt there was some dysfunction during the last couple of years at City Council.
And Sutcliffe adds that most of his commitment for the first 100 days are either finished or are in progress. And last week's explosion in New Orleans have been deemed criminal, and the circumstances are being looked into by the Ottawa Police's arson unit. City News reporter Chris Curry is with more on what an investigation like this would look like.
It's tough to put a timeline on this type of investigation, says a former Ontario Fire Marshal investigator, but it will be comprehensive.
Depends on who's involved, and as far as development goes, with the OFM, they're going to team up with the municipality, dealing with permits. They could be dealing with who are those that were workers on site.
Forensic expert Mike Pontfay says while the arson unit is investigating a criminal matter, that doesn't mean it was intentional, and a focus will be on the gas supply system in and around the explosion site. Chris Curry's City News.
It's been a busy 12 hours for Ottawa firefighters. fighting 4 separate fires yesterday and this morning. The first one happened in Offenbrook around 5 yesterday afternoon, damaging one first-floor apartment in a low-rise building on Donald Street. The next fire was outside a restaurant on O'Connor Street around 10:30 last night. That one damaged the third-floor balcony. The next 2 fires were in Orleans, a kitchen fire on Cottonwood Crescent around 7:45 this morning, and a fire in the ceiling and attic above the second-floor bathroom of a home on Neptune Way. One person was treated for smoke inhalation in the Neptune Way fire. No one was injured in any of the others. Fire investigators are looking into the causes and origins of the fires. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the feds are prepared to help Atlantic provinces that are willing to welcome some asylum seekers being transferred from other provinces. Trudeau says it is great news that Atlantic premiers have expressed openness to bringing in some of the migrants who are entering Quebec at irregular crossings such as Roxham Road.
Quebec is seeing its capacity stretched to the limits, and it is great news that Atlantic provinces are looking at bringing in some of those asylum seekers while they go through the process of evaluation of their asylum claims.
Quebec Premier François Legault has asked the federal government to transfer most of the new arrivals to other provinces, saying that province can no longer handle the demand. 23-time Grand Slam winner Serena Williams will be honored for her achievement in tennis this weekend. Williams will also be honored for her efforts to uplift the Black community at the NAACP Image Awards. The NAACP says Williams will receive the Jackie Robinson Sports Award during the ceremony, which will air on Saturday. The award recognizes individuals in sports for their high achievement in athletics, along with their pursuit of social justice, civil rights, and community involvement. City news, traffic, and weather together in 1 minute. And Viola Davids gets another nod for her latest book, Finding Me. City News time, 2:40.
For the latest in local news for Ottawa and the Valley,
listen online at ottawa.citynews.ca
or download the Radio Player Canada app.
Please be advised, if you find winter driving distressing, the following is a real audio clip of a Subaru driving on an unplowed mountain pass in the Yukon in minus 23-degree conditions. Just listen to Subaru's standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive go to work on all that ice and snow. And that sound is our confident driver whistling Beethoven's Fifth, I believe. Visit your local Subaru dealer and really own winter with uncommon winter capability.
Oh, no way! Are you kidding me? Get me that vacay. We love a deal as much as the next person, but this is something different. We're experts at getting you that sun getaway you didn't think you could score. And with deals on the destinations you've always wanted to visit, it's a no-brainer. Let's make your dream getaway happen. In-store in Canada on Hazeldean Road, online, or just give us a call.
City News time 2:41. Here's City News traffic and weather to get on the ones.
Good afternoon. Taking a look at the roads right now. The Queensway, the 174 and the 416 all have light activity. Special daytime winter weather parking ban in effect until 7 o'clock tonight due to the inclement weather. Clearly Avenue closed at Richmond Road for long-term LRT work. Richardson closed between Richmond Road and Byron for construction. And Carling between Transit Way and the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway will have lane reductions for LRT construction. Own winter with legendary standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. For uncommon winter capability, visit your Subaru dealer. For the forecast for Ottawa and the Valley, here's weather specialist Denise Andriacci.
Periods of light snow continue as we move through this afternoon and evening. Trace to another few centimeters expected on top of the wallop we've already seen. So just take it easy on the roads. The crews still have some work to do. There's no alerts for Ottawa and Smiths Falls, but we are expecting scattered flurries and some light snow for the remainder of the afternoon and evening. Overnight tonight, minus 15.
Right now in Ottawa and in Smiths Falls, light snow, minus 10, feels like minus 18. If you see these in the making, remember to call the City News tip line. It is 613-736-2020. City News time, 2:42. Another City News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price of gas will go down 4 cents at midnight to $1.40.9 a liter at most Ottawa gas stations. And now the City News Market update from the Business Center. Here's Ari Rabinovich.
And now looking at green for major markets, but only modest advances, although the NASDAQ is making a bit of a push. Right now it's up 0.75%. The S&P 500 has turned into the gains column by 13 points, and the Dow Jones has gained just shy of 0.25% after being in the red for most of the afternoon. Bay Street is relatively flat, but looking at a modest gain of just shy of 10 points. With energy stocks still performing the best on Bay Street, with Suncor Energy up about 2% and Cenovus up just over 1%. We have the Canadian dollar higher by 1/10 cent at 73.88 cents US, and a gain for oil that's up $1.30 at $75 US per barrel. The gold futures still sliding 11 at 1,830 the ounce. At the City News Business Center, I'm Ari Rabinovich.
The City News Ottawa Market Minute is brought to you by Dynamic Funds.
Concerned about the risk of inflation? A financial advisor can help. See why advice matters now more than ever. Visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
And still to come, the death toll continues to climb after the twin earthquakes in Syria and Turkey. City News Time, 2:44.
Hi, I'm Brian Berlot, CEO at Maxis Staffing and Recruitment. Are you currently seeking temporary or permanent employment? Maxis can assist you in landing the perfect position today. Profession, IT, administration, call center, assembly or trades. Get the job you want. Visit maxis.ca, maxsys.ca.
Maxis has helped over 100,000 people get jobs. Let them help you. Get started today. Visit maxis.ca. Whenever you've needed us, federal public service workers have been here for Canada. We deliver the services you rely on through this crisis and the next. But for nearly 2 years, we've been on the front lines without a contract. That's a big problem because while the government stalls on making things right, we all pay the price. Workers can't wait. None of us can. Learn more at workerscan'twait.ca. A message from the Public Service Alliance of Canada.
Number one for local news in Ottawa and the Valley. This is City News on 101.1 FM and 1310 AM.
Lights now on -10, feels like -18 in the wind in Ottawa and Smith Falls. Good afternoon. I am Damiliola Unime, and here's what's making news right now. 100 days into the Sutcliffe 4-year term in the capital, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe says he is pleased with the progress they've made so far, especially with the level of cooperation around the council table. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says his government has signed healthcare agreement in principle with Ontario and all the 4 Atlantic provinces. After the Premier's agreed to a federal offer of $46 billion in new money for healthcare over the next decade, Ottawa set about negotiating bilateral agreements with each Premier to target specific priority areas. City News Time is 2:46.
Well, practice has wrapped up at PNC Arena this afternoon as the Ottawa Senators are getting ready to take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow. Still waiting for some comments from head coach DJ Smith to confirm if Jake Sanderson will indeed return to the lineup tomorrow. We do know Cam Talbot will be back and will give the start in goal. As for tonight, Connor McDavid and the Oilers are in Pittsburgh. It's a 7 o'clock start on Sportsnet. Elsewhere, Vancouver is in St. Louis, Calgary, and Vegas. Meanwhile, how about this? Gatineau Olympique, they're going for an 11th straight win when opening a 2-game series in Chicoutimi. Face off at 7:30. Looks like the Raptors are at full health as they return to action tonight when hosting the Pelicans. OG Anunoby, Gary Trent, Thaddeus Young, all expected to play. Toronto starts the day holding the final play-in spot. Raps are 5-2 this month. Tip-off 7:30. Elsewhere, they've already qualified for the World Cup this summer, but the Canadian men's basketball team resumes qualifying in Argentina tonight. Canada sitting a perfect 10-0 in this qualifying window. Sportsnet 360 will have the game at 7:30. Rachel Homan's Ontario rink now sitting 5-2 at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Picked up a 5-3 win over New Brunswick this afternoon. A draw 16 continues. A Carrie Anderson 6-0 Canada rink sitting tied with Alberta 8-8 in the 10th end. And to golf, Brooke Henderson opened the Honda LPGA Thailand with a 369, and she is 4 shots off the lead. From the Sports Center, I'm Alex Xero.
Starting back at zero, that ain't gonna happen.
Wednesdays on FX and City TV Plus.
It's not so hard to build an empire. You need to know exactly who we dealing with.
You don't want to do this.
Wrong answer. It's not easy. not knowing who you can trust. Franklin is going to war. Whatever happens next, Leah's here.
Snowfall, the final season. Wednesdays on FX and City TV Plus. Available with Prime Video channels.
Most Canadians don't know their number, the amount of money they need to walk away to retire and stay retired for the rest of their lives. If you don't know your number and it is causing stress, reach out to Rideau Wealth Group. They are part of the Ottawa office of Scotia Wealth Management. They can help you get on track to secure the lifestyle you want to live. Start by finding your number today. Visit them at findyournumber.ca.
Rideau Wealth Group, Scotia McLeod, a division of Scotia Capital Inc.
You're with City News. I'm Scott Burnett. Advocates for the print and digital media industry say Google is disrespecting Canadian readers by temporarily blocking news to some of its users. Google confirmed on Wednesday that it's blocking less than 4% of Canadian users from viewing news content in a 5-week test run of a potential response to the Liberal government's online news bill. Bill C-18 would require digital giants such as Google and Meta to negotiate deals to compensate Canadian media companies for displaying or providing links to their news content. Executive Director of the group Friends says Google is prioritizing money over free press and democracy. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is touring the site where a train derailed nearly 3 weeks ago in Ohio. On site and asking questions. What's this guy right here?
That was one of the cars that was in a derailment.
20 days after it happened, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg at the site of the toxic East Palestine Norfolk Southern train derailment, asking how long the cleanup will take.
You have to ask the railroad.
The Secretary's trip comes after the Biden administration faced criticism for not visiting East Palestine sooner. The Transportation Department defending the timing in a statement saying that Buttigieg wanted to go when it's appropriate and wouldn't detract from the emergency response efforts. Dave Packer, ABC News.
The death toll from the massive earthquake that hit parts of Turkey and Syria continues to rise as more bodies are retrieved from the rubble.
Turkey's Interior Minister announced the new combined death toll in Turkey and Syria